How's it going, everybody? Lane here. I'm so happy to be doing this video today because we have the coolest topic that I love to talk about, and that is how to start and grow an online business. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna tell you my entire journey of what I've done over the last 4 or 5 years to go from just an idea, a passion, to an actual business, and now a second one that I'm starting. If you stick around to the end, what you're gonna discover is how to take your passion and your interest and your expertise and stuff that you know about and stuff that you are passionate about and you think about a lot, and actually serve people with it in a way that rewards you monetarily, AKA you can make money from it. Yeah. That's what we wanna do. And when you can do it like that, where you're serving people and you're making a difference in the world, and your bank account grows in the process, isn't that a win across the board? I mean, can we agree on that? That's a win. So I want to talk to you about that today. If you stick around to the end, you'll get everything you need to know to get started, and I want to journey with you every step of the way. Who am I? My name is Lane Sebring. This is my channel. So awesome to be with you today. Typically on this channel, we talk about 3 things: self-publishing, personal development, and online business. If you're interested in self-publishing, which is a really great way to monetize what you're doing, it's a great way to make money from what you know, to write a book about it, you can grab my free 5-step guide to writing a #1 best-selling book. If you go to lanesebring.com/5 steps, you can pick up your copy there. My first book was a #1 bestseller in its category on Amazon. I learned a ton through the process, and in this guide, I show you everything that I learned doing that so that you can take those steps and make it happen for you. Okay, so let's dive right into online business. Where I want to start today is I want to tell you about my journey, and as I do that, I want to kind of give you the lessons that I've learned along the way so that you can learn from me and we can kind of get started on this journey. Now, this is not the last video that I'm gonna do about online business. So I think the best way to get started with this is actually to talk about what a business even is, and then we'll talk about what an online business is. So what is a business? A business is simply something that solves a problem for people. So if you think about any business, at its core is just solving a problem or meeting a need. So take a plumber, for example. What happens when your toilet starts leaking, or it doesn't flush like it's supposed to, or something goes wrong, and you don't want to fix it yourself, or you don't know how to fix it yourself? You call a plumber. And the plumber comes over and they fix the problem. They're solving a problem. And in exchange for solving that problem for you, you give them money, right? They charge a fee to come solve the problem. Why do grocery stores exist? Well, because the problem is, if we don't eat, we die, right? At its essence, a grocery store is there to meet the need that we all have to eat and solve that problem. And in exchange for that, we give them money. So we buy a thing of bananas and we give them money for those bananas, and bread and milk and eggs and whatever else we buy, right? So you get the idea that a business really at its core is just solving a problem. The first business I ever had was mowing lawns. I was 13 or 12, and I just took my little mower and my gas can and my weed eater, and I walked around and I said, "Would you like me to mow your lawn? I'll do it for $15. This was a long time ago. You charge a lot more these days, I think. But I got started charging $15 to mow people's lawns, solved a problem, and in exchange, I got money. So you get the idea. When we talk about online business, all we're saying is that you're solving a problem for people, but you're doing it online, right? You don't have to go physically anywhere to go do it. So you're doing it on your computer. You're providing content. You're providing education, you're providing consulting, you're providing coaching, you're writing a book, you're producing a template or a graphic or a PDF. You're doing something from your home. Or some online businesses are where they ship products from their home, right? Or they ship products to Amazon, and then Amazon fulfills the orders and sends them out. Another really popular type of online business is drop shipping. But when I talk about online business and the type of online business that I'm super passionate about, because I think everybody at some level or some point can get started and do pretty well with the type of online business that I love. And what it is simply taking something that you know, taking something that maybe you know more than other people. You don't have to be an expert in terms of like you've got certifications and all this stuff. It's just that you have expert knowledge and that you know more than most people, you know more than the average person, and you're further along than even people in your field where you can look back and say, hey, here's how you can get where I'm going, or here's how you can do what I've done. So what you can do is you can take something that you know, something that you're good at, and then go online and start sharing content about that. And then eventually, maybe you can monetize that knowledge in different ways: coaching, consulting, education through maybe online courses, books, and other things, right? If that's not making sense yet, let me walk you through exactly how the process worked for me in my first online business that, guess what? I didn't know it was a business when I first started. My first business, which I didn't even realize was going to be a business, really started out as just a blog, just a simple website. It came from a passion I had. I was a pastor and I loved to preach, and I loved really effective preaching, and I loved preaching that kind of reached out and grabbed you and pulled you in, preaching that was dynamic and effective. And so I started studying what makes certain preaching really good and effective, and other preaching kind of, boring or unengaging or not as dynamic. And so I just started blogging about, here's the things that I'm learning about preaching. I called it preachingdonkey.com. And that little blog started to take off, right? There was other kind of large Christian media websites that started picking up my articles and asking me if they could share my articles and link them back to my website. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And so very quickly, this little blog that only a few people knew about got a lot more exposure, and I started to grow an audience. And so what I didn't realize was happening is something that's very common in the online business space. And that is, if you begin by sharing free, valuable content about a particular topic, about a particular niche, you actually grow an audience pretty quickly. And the funny thing is my audience for Preaching Donkey is like incredibly narrow. I'm going after pastors, but not just any pastor. I'm going after pastors who preach, because not all pastors preach. And I'm not just going after pastors who preach. I'm going after pastors who preach and who have a desire to preach better. And then I'm going after pastors, not just who want to communicate better, but pastors who are open to coaching. Not only am I going after pastors who preach, who want to communicate better, and who are open to coaching, but I'm also going after all of these things in a pastor who's open to coaching from me, okay? Because not every pastor is going to be open to coaching from me, right? So if you take this and you narrow it down, it is a very specific, narrow niche that applies to a very small amount of people. Now, you might be thinking, that doesn't seem like a good strategy, right? Like, we think broad, right? Everything has to be super broad. If you think about Walmart, right? Walmart wants to be in every town. They want to be in every city. They want to be in every country, because theirs is a volume business. They just want to reach as many people, sell as many products for the cheapest amount they can with the smallest margin, and just spread that over thousands and thousands of stores and tens of millions of people that buy their products every single day, and that's their business model. In the online space, it's just not like that, especially if you're a education type business where you're sharing an expertise. You actually want to narrow your audience down, because guess what happened? Because I had such a narrow focus on that 5 points of criteria that I told you, those people started to gather around what I was teaching. And I was able to, along the way, start to capture their email addresses, which is really important. I'll talk about that in another video. I was able to, I started a podcast to begin to kind of speak to them directly instead of just the written content on the blogs. I wrote a book. I wrote a second book. I released a course, an online course, very comprehensive A to Z kind of method for preaching for these pastors who want to go deeper. There's been all kinds of things that I've been able to do over the years. YouTube, right? So this is my Lane Sebring channel, but I have another channel that's my Preaching Donkey channel that is getting close to 4,000 subscribers, 3,800 subscribers. And I have 5,000 pastors who subscribe to my email list. So this is not a massive brand yet by any stretch of the imagination. However, it's enough people, and it grows every single day, because I'm still putting out content every single week that I'm reaching the right people, pastors who preach, who want to communicate better, who are open to coaching and open to coaching for me, right? All of those 5 things, I'm going after those every single week. Pastors who preach, want to communicate better, open to coaching and open to coaching for me. That's who I'm targeting. And if there are people who watch the videos and they're like, I don't like this guy, that's actually good. It's a filter. It filters out people who, for whatever reason, they don't like me, they don't want to connect with me. That's fine. Totally not a big deal. I'm going after the people who I can reach. And then I begin to have a relationship with those people virtually, right? Like I produce content, they benefit from it, they respond to it with comments or with emails, and I'm going back and forth and I'm sharing my advice and I'm learning from them and they're learning from me, and all this stuff is happening. And then how do you make money? This might be the question you're asking, okay? If all this is free, how do you make money? Well, people buy the books, people buy the course, people watch the YouTube videos, and that channel is monetized. You can monetize a YouTube channel once you get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time within the last 365 days. So that happened last year, and so I was able to monetize that brand. So I get paid when people watch the videos. I'm able to make money from recommending products through affiliate marketing. I have a whole video on the Amazon affiliates program. You can check that out. But I also do other affiliate partnerships from time to time with people who provide resources for pastors. And so I'm going to release another course, probably at least 3 for that brand. When I say course, I'm talking, I build it one time. It took me 6 months to build the first course, which is a long time, but it sells for $297 or $397. So $297 or $397, depending on the level they buy. And it's done, right? I've built the course. And so they buy it and they go through it. They get access to it online and they go through it, and I can sell 1 or 2 or 10,000, okay? And it's the same amount of work. And so you want to focus on, in an online business, the beauty of it is that the work is actually a fixed asset, right? So I spent 6 months every morning, early mornings, sitting here building that course. And it was hard. I had to plan it. I had to shoot the videos. I had to build the PDFs. I had to really think about the process and the journey I'm taking people on. And I put a lot of hundreds of hours of work into it. But guess what? It's done. And I can now sell that course for years to come to an ever-growing audience. And every time I sell another copy of that course, it makes that time I spent all the more valuable, because it's a fixed amount of time and then a disproportionate result, a disproportionate effect on my income, right? So I want you to think about for you, and I know this is like probably, if you're totally new to this is like drinking from a fire hose, right? I mean, I'm just giving it to you. This is the whole thing. But there's so much more to it. As you start to drill down into all of these things, okay, well, how do you write a book? Okay, well, how do you build a course? Okay, well, how do you capture emails? Okay, well, how do you decide what content to give out for free and what content to charge for? How do you, on and on, how do you establish yourself as an authority in a space? All of these questions are questions you might have. So here's what I want you to do. First of all, if you're into this kind of thing, subscribe to this channel. Okay, just subscribe, like this video. It really helps for more people to see it. I would appreciate that a ton. The other thing is leave a comment below and tell me, what are your questions? When you think about online business, when you think about your expertise, your knowledge, what you have to offer, what are the things that you're like, I still have a question about this, or how would I get started in this way, or I'm not sure how to build a website, whatever. I just want to know whatever your questions are, because what I want to start doing is I want to start addressing every single week, what are the questions that you have, okay? Whether they're about self-publishing, personal development, online business, doesn't matter. I want to kind of meet you right where you are and help you through this journey, because I know that there were certain people that I looked to when I was starting to build an online business. People like Pat Flynn, people like Graham Cochran, people like Ryan Moran, people like that. There's so many names that I could give you. Amy Porterfield, Sonny Lenarduzzi. These are all people that I started to pay attention to, because I was like, who out there is doing this? Those people are at a much higher level than me. But here's what I can say to you. You and I can journey together, because as I learn everything that I'm doing, as I'm learning it, I'm going to be sharing it with you. As I'm doing things and some things are working and some things aren't working, I'm going to be honest about what's going on. I'm going to talk to you more in depth about how the journey has been and what the steps have been like along the way. I'm definitely not an expert on this, but I love the topic and I love to help people. And so come along with me on this journey, subscribe to this channel. That's it for today. Take it easy, everybody, and I will see you in the next video.